what the city is talking about. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
All right, that is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, again, Taylor Swift has arrived at the Rogers Centre. I know you've been breathlessly waiting for that news, so now we know it's been confirmed.
I'm tracking her on my computer.
Oh, perfect.
I've got all my stuff that I have to talk to about you, and I got a little TS logo on my map of
that's
TO.
nice. That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
I will let you know, I know this because Robin Flynn, we had her on the show yesterday, is in Toronto. She actually went out and bought a ticket. She's going to the concert. I think it's tonight. So tonight's the first of several concerts in Toronto. I looked at the video she posted of Taylor Swift coming in from the airport. She actually did have a police escort, and I thought to myself, okay, really? What is she, head of state now? Police escort to get to the
Beatles
Rogers
used
Centre.
to have police escorts
Did they?
back in the day. In Beatlemania? Absolutely.
Okay. Fair enough then, I guess.
Okay.
All right, let's start. What do you want to get going here with?
Oh, let's talk about the REM.
Oh, perfect. Okay, do we have music to go with that, Brian, with the REM? I think we might, right? Do we have anything?
What about us Brendan slobs?
You'll be given cushy jobs.
Were you sent here by the devil?
No, good sir, I'm on the level.
The ring came off my...
All right, I think we all recognize that. That's from The Simpsons when they were trying to sell them on the idea of a monorail. I'm starting to think, Jim, this idea of a REM, a monorail for us, is looking worse and worse all the time.
Well, it's kind of crazy because, A, we've already, it's bought and paid for. We also agreed to the really ridiculous demand that, if there's going to be a REM, we don't have any competition. We're not going to have any public transit, no bus routes, no nothing. Although, to be sure, given the number of times REM service has absolutely crashed and burned since the service began, just between Brossard and Central Station, those shuttle buses have been running big time. But my real concern is by the time this finally gets off the ground, and let's face it, spring or fall of 2025 is a very comfortable place to be. It's far enough that you can say, we have lots of time. Maybe we can actually bring it up. I have a bad feeling about this, Aaron. There has been so much has been going wrong with this that even if it does get off the ground, I'm thinking so many people will say, I am not about to trust myself to this proven unreliable form of transport. They're all going to stay in their cars, which is a killer because we're paying for this thing. It's our pension fund that is overseeing this entire project. And it's clear that somewhere, someone's hands let go of the control levers. Even the head last year of the REM said it's unacceptable, the number of interruptions of service. But every time there's an interruption of service, that's that many people who aren't going to waste their time or take the chance. I mean, you're supposed to rely on this thing to get you to work. It's supposed to be part of your day. It's supposed to be making you money. If you can't rely on it, you got a car in the garage, and trust me, a lot of people on the South Shore have cars in their garage. They will put up with the traffic reports. They will put up with the traffic jams because at least when they hear every 15 minutes on CJAD what's going on with the traffic, that is what is going on with the traffic as opposed to let's roll the dice and take the REM.
I just don't understand, Jim, because, of course, we're not engineers here, but it seems to me we are not the only city in the world to have one of these. How is it so difficult just to sort of do a carbon copy here? We're not doing this thing underground. We're sticking up a thing it can run on. How are we not able to do a better job at doing
We're
this?
Quebec. We always do things differently.
Fair enough.
You remember the old debate over using rubber tires in the metro?
Yes.
As opposed to steel rails and how much more expensive it was? Well, they use rubber tires in Paris. Oh, okay. That makes perfect engineering sense to me. That's marvelous. Because it wouldn't make all those really sad noises. No, listen. We've had bad luck, but mostly it is this kind of, and it's not exclusive to this government, and it's not exclusive to. It's just a thing in Quebec government. Yeah. We have this kind of economic jingoism, which means that if we're going to do something, we're going to do it our way, in our style, and whatever. And we have got the bills to prove it. I mean, listen, you're talking to a guy who single-handedly, when he still smokes, rebuilt the entire big old roof, Aaron, because it was people like me who kept financing this huge white elephant. But this is part and parcel of, whether we want to admit it or not, who we are. You want to talk about Quebec identity? You need look no further than the REM and the Big O.
By the way, for people who didn't hear now, our bill on this is now exceeded, what are we at, over $4 billion, $3 billion? It's hard to remember.
I've lost count. Does it really matter, Aaron?
I'm sorry.
At this point, billions?
Yeah.
talking about Quebec government projects, billions. Who cares?
Sorry.
It's somebody else's money.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope for the best. I also found out, if you did not hear, that today they talked about the link that'll go to the airport, something we've needed so badly for so long. That's now not happening until 2027.
Yeah, sure, because there's no rush for that.
No, certainly not.
Absolutely not.
Who's flying?
I got to tell you, when I rode the REM once in my life, and I did it for the Gazette, right? We were checking it out in the opening days, and I hate to tell you, all I could think of was there's no one driving this thing, and what happens if it breaks down in the middle of the bridge? And God help me, it's done so several times since I had those terrible nightmarish thoughts. And like I say, I wouldn't blame anybody who lives out in the South Shore for saying, the hell with this, I'm taking my car. Yeah. I can't gamble, on getting into work on time, especially in these uncertain economic times, because some government office full of pinheads can't get their act together and get the trains to run on time.
And we'll leave it at that. Let me move on and get to this next story here. So 17 Quebec schools now, that's what the government is telling us, are going to be investigated over their potential defiance of Bill 21. So this is the government looking for a boogeyman, if you'll pardon the expression?
Absolutely. I think this is, if you'll excuse the really intentional mixed metaphor, this is a godsend to the secularists and the CAQ. The CAQ has made it clear, even though it's tanking in the polls now, it figures all Quebecers are basically cowards, and all Quebecers basically need to be afraid of something. So it has gone in the past. They've done immigrants to death, right? So now they're focusing on the specter of perhaps the Islamic menace in schools. At least that's the suggestion where, there's this idea, and even the head of the PQ, M. Paul-Saint-Pierre-Plamondon's picked up on this, that it's kind of like a beachhead in the schools, right? And they're coming in there, and they're going to start changing all culture. First of all, I don't know exactly what happened at Bedford still. There may have been problems there. I'm not really sure if they're exclusively of a religious nature. And I also get the impression that the people in charge, who should have been in charge, were asleep at the switch while all this was going on. But now we've got these 17 schools, and gee, what, Aaron, most of them are in Montreal and Laval, that are alleged to have be in violation of the law on secularism. We don't have the details, and you know what? Don't hold your breath waiting for them. It just seems there's enough of a shadowy menace planing over our schools, planing over our kids, and the only people, of course, who can protect us are Bernard Drainville and the Coalition Avenir Québec. We'll see how this one pans out. I'm just hoping maybe down the road, and not just the opposition parties, but actual Quebecers will turn around and say, how long are you guys going to keep talking to your hat? If you've got proof of something, can you give it to me chapter and verse, as opposed to leaking stuff or having it interpreted by Québécois columnists who are basically seeing threats to the French language and Quebec identity, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, white people named Tremblay, under every single bed. So yeah, here we go. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and hope for the details on this one, Aaron, but don't hold your breath. All
right. Listen, I don't know if you heard our question of the day to kick things off today. Did you? Because I want to ask you for your take on this. I'm curious.
I'm ashamed to say I did not,
Okay.
Aaron.
So we have a story about an Ottawa man, lives in an apartment building, owns an EV. He's been charging that car outside every day for the last couple of years. And then all of a sudden, his landlord says, nope, can't do that anymore. He disables his charger. And the guy says, wait a sec, I have a lease. My lease says electricity is included, right, in my rent. Yeah. And the landlord says, yeah, no, it's not for this. And he disables the charger and tells the guy, you want to charge your car here, it'll be $80 a month. Guy offers $25. Landlord kind of looks at him and says, no, I am not going to be financing your commute to work every day. Who's right here, the tenant or the landlord?
Well, honestly, you're speaking to a longtime tenant, and I've learned over all these years that you've got to get everything in writing in your lease. And if he does not have any sort of like legal claim to using that charger, if that charger was the landlord's property, and it was suggested but not made clear in the lease what the terms of use were for that, I say he doesn't have a hope in hell. But on the other hand, by all means, take it to whatever, the Ontario equivalent of the Rent Control Board. But from what you're telling me, from what I'm hearing, it seems like the law is on the landlord's side of this one.
It's interesting. Most people said the same, but a lot of them suggested, why not saw it off? The landlord's asking for $80. The guy's offering $25. Let's call it a day at $50. That's such a Canadian thing to do.
Or else, why don't you just play loud rock and roll music 24/7 and paint your walls silver? How's about you do that?
Okay. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, Tenant. Jim, thank you so much.
That's a man.